I'm looking back at the albums I heard growing up. Not the big ones like Live at Leeds or Legalize It, just the deeper cuts, right? So here are the albums that made me.
Let it grow, let it grow.
I got my first guitar at age 12, a Les Paul Jr. knockoff made by Encore, along with a tiny 9-volt powered Marshall amp with a 4-inch speaker. But when I wanted something just a touch louder, my stepfather kept a pig nose in the house, which he'd occasionally let me use, and that was cool. Progress on the guitar was pretty slow for me at first. John showed me the open first position chords and a 1-4-5 and E, but that was the only instruction I ever received on guitar, at least until much, much later in life. There was also some talk at one time of having me audition to play a young Hank Williams in a movie. So I learned how to play and sing Jambalaya on the Bayou and Why Don't You Love Me when I was like 13. But that was pretty much the extent of my playing ability for quite a while. For me, the real progress started when I discovered our couple of transcription books. In our living room, we had a beautiful carved wooden open book holder where we stashed a couple of transcription books, one for Brothers and Sisters and one for Desperado by the Eagles. I remember looking through them one day and seeing the little chord boxes above the staff, and they had shapes that kind of matched the shapes of the chords I had already learned. So using those books, I was able to teach myself the couple dozen songs on those 2 albums, along with a bunch of new chords. But the thing that happens when you start putting in practice like that, at least for me, is I started to be able to develop my ear. I was able to hear what key I was in, hear when the song switches to the 4 chord, hear when the key changes, stuff like that. And that's when I started making real progress on the instrument, because my mom's record collection was full up to bursting with all kinds of stuff that was easy, or at least approachable, for a beginning guitarist to understand. Chief among those was Eric Clapton's 1974 release, 461 Ocean Boulevard. Yes, this was Clapton's return to recording after a 4-year hiatus due to the breakup of Derek and the Dominoes and his struggle with heroin. And yes, it was recorded at Criterion Studios, engineered by Tom Dowd. Yes, it included a cover of I Shot the Sheriff by Bob Marley and Please Be With Me by Cowboy. All of that's plenty interesting on its own, but for me, it was the endorphin rush every time I was able to teach myself another song on the album. So, as problematic as Clapton has turned out to be, I gotta at least acknowledge that he made the album that made the thought of playing a guitar seem possible to me. The standout tracks to me are Let It Grow and Mainline Florida. Final analysis. Is this an album I still like? Sorry, but yeah, some of this music I still think of fondly. Is this an album I still spin regularly? No need. I played it enough for a lifetime when I was young. Would I recommend 461 Ocean Boulevard? Well, seeing as part of the album sales still go to Tom Dowd's estate and some to Scott Boyer's, then sure, go get it.